Yeah.
This meeting is being recorded.
Cool. So I appreciate you agreeing to record. What we'll do, as we said, Kairu, we'll plan to make it public. If anything gets said or happens during the meeting that you want to not be public, just let me know right then. So we'll cut right then and we'll have the cut point, and then we'll continue on with another video. That'll make it easy to edit that part if we need to do it. If you don't say anything over the whole way, can we just assume we'll make the whole thing public? Does that work for you?
That's fine. Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
And I'm pretty sure there's nothing I'll say that I don't feel comfortable going public. So that's pretty much got free reign.
That's the ideal, man, and that's why I'm doing it, because the more and more people that we can have being in our full open selves, being willing to be open about all levels, we're being examples for others of how to do it and how to be that way, right? And with everything, I'm devoting a certain amount of time to really sharing like the worst crap in my life right now, the things that I'm most ashamed about and don't want to show to people, because I'm realizing that as much as I want to stretch into changing the world and all the ways that I'm bringing these really magnificent things, it kind of almost makes me have to show everybody like the polar opposite part of how I'm not dealing with all these aspects of life and all these ways that people would consider way beyond crisis, and all of that. Right. And it's not all roses. But I think that the more that all of us can just embrace each other's shit and make way, to allow whatever everybody's showing up with one way or another, that to me, that's what we're evolving into. And I'm building those kinds of principles into the system because it's giving everyone the ability to share whatever it is that they want to share into the world and be able to benefit from receiving all the same information from others that they're willing to share.
Right. And there's that recognition that, we're all, this bird's going crazy back here, but
it's a signal.
That we're all human. Yeah, right. That we're all human and we all have our shadows and our things that we're working through at whatever level we're at. That's an ongoing journey into infinity. And to be able, for me, the core of it is just being able to come and speak authentically and speak the truth as we've come to know it, and just being honest and transparent, and I do consider that transparency and that intimacy, I consider the company I share that with, but I always, particularly in my closest intimate relationships, I'm always like, this is what I've got, and I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal or dig a moat beneath myself either. It's kind of like, this is just what I'm working with, and being able to acknowledge that, it's real. So
yeah, no, I totally appreciate that. Thank you for sharing all that and for coming from that perspective. For sure, I hear what you're saying, and that's the thing, is that you'll see as we get into these systems that it's just it necessarily puts all of us, whoever's going to be embracing this, into a very the spotlight is shining, and it's really, I'm gonna, there's so much that I want to share, but I don't want to share any of that until I really understand your world and where you're coming from and what's important to you and what are the visions that you have for your life, your work, your family, your community, your world, that are the ones that you will put some of your energy and time and resources into, because that's what this system is built for. The system is designed for you to have visions that you want to see alive in the world and manifest them into existence in the most efficient and the most effective way. So it's really designed for people, especially like me, with huge visions that want to get everything out there, that I can get it out as fast as I can speak it into videos with different people, and then chop up those videos and categorize them into all of these different categories of content, like books and chapters within a book. And I'm creating themes and pages and sections. And that's what we're going to actually get into. You're going to actually be able to use this system now. You're going to be one of the very first users of this system. I just want to create a little context for you to let you understand that really what I've been working on is creating a reality generating machine. And I've been creating this, I've been working on it for many years, for like almost for like 20 years in some form or another, really literally. And so it's very evolved. I'm finally like putting all the pieces together to have it all come out. The thing that it does, like I'm saying, is it literally provides all the systematic framework to allow what we're speaking into the world to get categorized into all these categories of our content, that we're building up this encyclopedic library of what it is that we have to say in the world, that we have to share about any topic. So, and actually in the more advanced phase with artificial intelligence coming in, which really shouldn't take that long, the way we can build up with it with some human filtering and artificial intelligence to be able to really actually go from our natural language conversations to be able to actually have all of our language fall into all of the cubby holes. It's the channels of content is what it is, right? So whenever you're talking about this specific thing that these specific people are interested in, you're publishing it on this channel of content, whatever you're calling that channel. And that's where the people that are tuning into that channel are finding your content and finding everyone else who's also publishing to that same channel. And that's kind of part of, you're seeing kind of part of the brilliance and the obviousness of it. It's kind of really, really crazy when you think about it, that we live in a world where we all care about these issues. And there's not a single issue that you can tell me that I know of, maybe you know of one, that you can go to one place to find all of the people and all of the organizations and all of the businesses and all of the experts that are all engaged in a conversation.
And the resources and everything.
Exactly. In a conversation and a co-creation of how do we take this massive resources and strategically apply it across, the mass that are coming together, just the fact that we don't have channels to tune into. So we're creating the channels and the complete content publishing system for you to get whatever is your head into the world, and then set you up with ways for you to actually manifest, wherever you need as well. So that's kind of a brief overview of like what we're doing. And now I really want to get into like where your world is and what you're interested in.
Well, first of all, that's so awesome. And I've actually had similar ideas because I'm such an organization like freak in a way. I love spreadsheets. I love having things organized where I'm like, I can see this and this and this, how this relates. And like, it makes it so clean and simple. And there's so much, with what you're creating, there's so much previously that's been just missed opportunities for connection and networking and collaboration between, not just organizations who have, maybe like the big guns, so to speak, but the people on the ground and the people who are like, directly involved or like really care about this thing, but can't connect with the right, pieces into place to get them to be able to take the effective action, or even know where to begin to take the effective action. And so having it laid out like that is just like, big duh, and also like brilliant. So yeah, kudos for what you're building. That's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And that's the thing I've been coming to. Just so you know, my degree is in aerospace engineering. So you can see my engineering mind at work, kind of assessing society and realizing that we're living by all of these unintelligent systems because they're the systems that are there. Like again, what you were just describing with nonprofits and the people that are in those nonprofits care so much. I've been involved in nonprofits. I've worked for them. I've been on boards. I'm sure you've been around them enough to see that with the nonprofits, almost, and especially the bigger issues, like if you take climate, there's thousands of organizations, maybe tens of thousands of organizations across the world devoted to climate. And right now, for the most part, almost every one of them are in an environment where they have to compete against the organization to their right and compete against the organization to their left to get their donor dollars and their sponsor support and their media support, and just to make sure they get their part of the pie of everyone that's competing for those dollars. And in that competitive environment, it's almost like the opposite of the most efficient way that you could be, because it's all these,
totally.
And
right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, completely. Because they're all like, they're expending resources to compete for limited resources. And so they're like using their own resources to try and acquire more resources, and they're all just kind of like burning their wheels, focusing on that rather than the actual issue they're trying to address.
And compared to what I described to you as is it's known as the collective solutions framework, where we're getting all the experts together and figuring it out. But essentially, the idea is that these, you know, these different, right now, let's say that, like, again, and let's use climate. Let's say there's 1,000 organizations that all individually have the capability to build like a 1-story building or a 2-story building, and maybe a standout as a 10-story building or a 20-story building. But when you need a 100-story building, and the only way to do it is to combine the resources that you already have and just apply it in that direction, right? We're not using resources on our planet as effectively and as efficiently as we should. And given all the critical, like, planet, threatening circumstances that we have, doesn't it dictate the most efficient and the most effective use of the resources that are available as a starting point, as we're saying, as an intelligent way to address the challenge and start to, engineer it from there? So that's where I've been going. That's what this is, as you're saying. It's designed with the intention that we're going to, make sure that we're going to organize things. And as a matter of fact, if your brain can expand, this much right now, this is where we are on the edge of the shift from living in a society that's been completely disorganized in spite of all of our technology, in spite of all our connectedness. If you want to search on any topic right now, you're diving into Google with a sea of different sources, and it's all just random for every random thing, right? There's no organization, there's no metadata, there's no way for you to know how many of your friends like this, how many MDs like this, how many PhDs like it. There's no way to categorize the information. So what we're doing now is we're going from a disorganized society to an organized society, where you're going to appreciate the Excel guy, normalizing the data. We're normalizing the data, and we're normalizing the information. Because do you work with relational databases? Have you worked with those?
What kind of relational databases do you mean?
So like I'm old school. I still use Access, is actually what I'm using as the foundation. So Access, or a SQL Server on the Microsoft side, or MS SQL, not MS SQL. I'm forgetting the name of it now. It's crazy.
I haven't used any of those.
Okay, so it's what it gives, and maybe you've done it with pivot tables. Have you used pivot tables in Excel spreadsheets? So with a spreadsheet, you have the ability to, you're normalizing information in the spreadsheet. So that's the first thing that you're doing already with each of the columns. Right. And with a relational database, you get to take out like one column and give it a bunch of different choices. So it's adding another dimension, right? So let's say let's say you're collecting information about cars, and then on one of the columns, it's a choice of 10 different cars. So that's now 10 different choices that exist in a different table that relate to it, like at an intersection. Right. And now you can relate to the data in this table, the data in this table. You got all these tables that have these. You get into interdimensional relationships between. Right.
Each choice leads to a different. Yeah. Totally.
Exactly. And it folds. So that's the relational database part. So again, what we're doing is we're taking all of this information that exists, all these stories, all this everything, and we're mapping them down with a thought map. This is actually, I just came up with this the other day. So you're one of the first people to hear this, and you're getting to see it first. But yeah, I'm now taking it all the way down to the thought level, because what we're doing is we're taking these different ideas. So let's start talking about something that you care about. So give me a sense of what you're interested in, and then let me, start working with you on it.
Okay. So, probably, there's like so many things, that to actually like hone in on one is like presenting a bit of a challenge in itself. Yeah. But I think one of the big ones to me, that is particularly just relevant and close to my heart, is men's work. And particularly just reacquainting men with the masculine and the masculine essence, and what that looks like in a healthy way, what that looks like in an embodied way, and how men can better show up in their world, but also create a legacy that they're proud of and that they truly like desire to leave in the world. You know, and stepping towards like intergenerational wealth, you know, just changing the mindset of men, and with the end goal of really restoring men and women to each other, because I've seen so many broken relationships and so much of a breakdown between men and women, and the communication and the relationships between them. And that for me, I mean, it goes into so many things, but like I think the core of it is just family, you know, and having, if I were to sum it up in one word, it'd be progeny, and to have, you know, descendants, and to have a legacy, and to place that at the forefront, because for me the children are the future, you know, and without putting the children at the center of the circle, everything else is kind of like, it loses its focus, you know, if we don't have our offspring and that at like at the center. So that's something that's been really, really huge for me.
Thanks for sharing that, man. It really, I processed a lot of different stuff as you're saying that, because at this point, I don't have any progeny of my own. And my brother only through his marriage. And so in terms of my mom and my dad, at the moment, there's not any of our biology, you know, getting passing down at the moment. And even for my other cousins, although they, I think, are still heading there. And sometimes it's interesting because I've just been, and it's great that you're saying this, because again, I was processing what you're sharing a lot. I've been in a way feeling like all of life is my children. Like I feel it as life is dying on this planet. Like that's part of my body. It's not even for me like a generational thing. It's just like a life experience thing. Like I'm experiencing life dying on this planet, ecosystem by ecosystem at this point, and I'm feeling it. And I am the expression of life that has the intelligence and the capability to save that life that doesn't have a say. The animals don't have to say, the ecosystems don't have a say. But I have something that I can do to stop that. Like I got to do that. Like that's what my life is about saving life on this planet. And I feel like in a lot of ways, I've taken a lot of the energy that I would have spent on raising a child, which I know takes energy and attention and just a whole world of attention, that I felt like if I had to have that whole world of attention on my mind, there's no way I could have done that. This is my child that I've been having to spend and birth and lock myself in my room for years at a time. Literally, I literally have been years in my room without contact on social media, without connecting with my friends, just to stay so focused that I could birth what you're seeing into the world. And to me, in a way, it's been worth, you know, all the sacrifice. There's been so many sacrifices, having love in my life. As you were just saying, it's, you know, again, it's been 10 years since I've had like a real relationship. And it's been that long that I've really just like withdrawn into this like monkdom basically. And I really didn't understand, like, I didn't understand monks until I was one and didn't even realize I was becoming one, you know?
Right.
And, you know, and then I understood the monkdom. But I hear what you're saying, that I actually don't have like skin, so to speak, in the game unless I have a child that's going to live into the effects. So it's really interesting for me to be hearing it that way, that I'm being, but here's the thing is like, I'm just offering all of this value as much as I can into the world for it to embrace. Whether it chooses to or not is going to be up to the world, right? But I feel like if I am successful in having the world embrace all these ideals, that allows us to be living in a society that actually is, you know, curtailing all of the funding of all of the destruction that we're doing. Like I'm doing it. That's the thing. And that's the paradox of our society. I have a house full of products that I don't know who the supply chain is, and that they're not, using suppliers that are somewhere else cutting down rainforest or polluting waters or whatever. It's all, so hidden and intermingled in all these corporations that as all of us in general, are funding the destruction that we're so in despair about. And the only way for us to actually start to steer the ship with the power of our collective capitalistic leverage is to be able to choose the corporations that are being the good actors with the books open and the transparency and everything that we're talking about. And the ones that are starting to do that are where all of the consumers go to say, yes, this is the future that we want. And then it becomes a competitive situation where all the businesses have to do that. And that's where we're headed, is that bad actors are evolving away because we're starting to get into a level of organization that it's either transparency, and I know where every single penny of my money is going down the supply chain, down to everywhere, to all of these conscious organizations where I want my money to go. I will withdraw it from all other sources of destruction of my environment, right? And when we get to that level of discernment of our dollars and our cents, to how we're flowing our money into the world, then the masses of us are going to create the reality we want. And that's happening very quickly. As I'm speaking it into existence right now, that's really literally what we're doing. Is I'm providing the system where not only will you and I have this conversation, thank you for agreeing to record it, but now this recording will be available to the entire world. And, at some point, millions of people can have watched this and understood, oh, that's where that idea got generated. And that's when so-and-so watched this and they brought in their, you get what I'm saying? Where this is how we're creating the world right now, all of us.
Yeah. And to speak to a point you made, that just kept, like, it stuck like a splinter for me. It was like, the act of, like, the legacy and like not having skin in the game, so to speak. I'd beg to differ. I'd say you have a ton of skin in the game. You've put years of your life and your time and your energy into creating something that could, even if only potentially, but quite probably will impact the lives of, countless children on this planet, countless people, the environment. Like, there's every act of love to me is, it's worthy in its own right, just for the sake of it, of where it's coming from. And so that level of, like, devotion and service, it's, for me, it's not even so much that, like, people should, like, have children or anything like that. It's more that I want to heal those, like, the relationship divides, because I, even with all of my, even if I were able to devote, like you have, devote all of my next, like, 10 years into my dream project, my dream creation, for me at least, I would still feel as if I missed something if I didn't have that person, if I hadn't found that person who I'd chosen to say, like, you're it for me. And I want to, like, make a real connection and a real, like, relationship. And that to me is like you said about sharing all those, like, tender spaces and being open and vulnerable to the world. That's the crucible for me where that really, like, everything comes up. It's not, I can't even pretend about who I am and what I stand for and how I have to show up. And so there's nowhere to hide in intimacy, kind of thing.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you for sharing. That's really great. And it does remind me where I was standing in that place, because in my last relationship, which again ended more than 10 years ago, or 10 years ago now, so it was 2013. So it's 9 years ago that relationship ended. And I remember when I was in that relationship that I was feeling like, as I have before, that the relationship feeds me and empowers me in a way that I'm more powerful in what I'm doing in the world. So I feel like I could have, in theory, been in a relationship all this time that could have been supporting me on a higher level and all of that. And at the same time,
theoretically speaking, it's possible.
For me, it was just a matter, it's beyond the children, it's just the attention, the amount to which I've shut out the world is, for me, the only way I could have done what I've done. It's like I had to so disconnect myself from this existing reality and connect myself into this new energetic reality that I was building brick by brick, block by block, you know, throughout all of these years. It's why I'm able to bring all of this right now. It was just in November that I decided to make this an open project and to start sharing everything publicly, because I don't even want to go down that road right now. But the bottom line is, it's now all out. Now I understand that the open source nature is what's going to allow us to create everything, because I'm just creating a framework for everyone to show up and do whatever it is that they can do with like their highest level gifts, and contribute that into a collective resource pool that allows us to be able to leverage everyone's best talents for, you know, whatever they can offer, right? For whatever they care about. And so again, this machine that we're constructing breaks everything down to such a level that it allows that, right? And at this stage, it looks like people just defining what support they need. And I'm going to show you that part of the system. We're going to actually use, you know, whatever example we're going to use from you, and break it down to something that you need in order to achieve that vision, right? And then that, and how that, you know, you put that into the world as an offer. And then what that does is it gives the opportunity for the world to show up and provide support to you in a way that you can use it, right? And the two levers that you have, the way that you can manage how well your offer is getting across into the world. Basically, you're putting an offer out there, say, hey, I need one of these. So let's say like it's video production, right? Let's say you need video production support in order to get, you know, the things done that you want to get done. And so you say, well, I can offer, you know, this amount of money, and then I also have this, you know, ways that I can support you or connect you with this, whatever the other, you know, incentives are that you can offer. And then combined with how inspiring what it is that you're sharing is to people, right? So it's the combination of how incentivized things are versus how inspired people are. Because if they're more inspired, they can be less incentivized. And if they're less inspired, they need to be more incentivized. But you have control over those things, to the offers that you're making, to the needs that you have that you're defining. So we're actually going to start to vision map for you, because you're going to define what the needs are that you need in order to create your vision. And then that's going to allow us to give you the chance to have those resources show up. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's really great. So let me, let's get you set up. Yeah, I'm excited to share this with you. Thank you for holding this space. So are you on your computer right now?
Yeah, I'm on the computer.
Okay, so let me give you the link. Let's share the screen and give you the link. Okay, so this is how you can sign up. And actually I want to have you share your screen, if you don't mind, while you're actually clicking on it, so I can make sure, you know, see what it looks like coming up on your system and all that sort of stuff. Is that cool?
Yep.
I'm going to actually do this testing with you. I haven't been even doing extensive testing, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the diagram that I created. I think let's start with this. Let's get you signed up, and then I'll share more. So go ahead and start sharing your screen, and then click on that link, and so I can see what comes up and how you're interacting with it and all of that.
Let's see. Okay, there we go. Awesome.
So you can say Dylan.
Cool.
So also I'm going to give you a disclaimer as you're checking off the terms of use and privacy policy, is that those are actually going to change pretty soon. So it's good if you want to look at it because it's got all the right language around like hate speech and violence stuff and all the things that need to be excluded. But other than that, but there's a bunch of this I wrote a couple of years ago, so it doesn't really cover a lot of the new types of things that are in there. So this really needs to be updated soon. It's really great from where we were a couple of years ago. So, you know, it's good to look at if you're interested, but I just want to let you know, I will have a new terms of service and privacy policy, all that really soon that you and everyone else have to agree to continue once we have that new agreement. But for now, this is like, you know, protecting. Cool.
Cool. Awesome. People getting to see all my stuff. All right, Jared, do you want me to go to
Yeah.
profile? Cool.
Yeah, zip code and headshot are optional.
Okay.
So it's just showing you, this is just basic stuff. And this is really, this is going to get expanded upon. And, oh, that's good. Let me see. Hold on a second. I need to see what that says.
Okay.
Syntax here. It's hard for me to read. Can you copy and paste it?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I apologize for that. But it's good. I need to find where these errors are. So let me see.
No, it's good. It's debugging the system.
Yeah, that's the thing is you are so early at this point. You're one of the first. I've only showed it to one other person today, Kate, who's part of our organization. And other than that, you're the second person. We didn't even go to this level. So I'm going to see syntax. Remember 20. Can you go back so I can see what we put in? Because I didn't think we put in anything that should have broken it. So you did art and then,
Yep.
so something, let me take a screenshot really quickly so I can look into this afterwards. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay. I need to save that somewhere. Okay, cool. Let me close this. Okay, cool. So I think, well, really, you mind if I pause this for a moment and we get this fixed? Because I want to
Yeah, go for it.
I want to have you be able to do that. So where's the recording? Pause it.
This meeting is being recorded.
I'm going to do it because this is going to be, I think, kind of interesting too. This is the first time I'm sharing what I'm doing with the coding and everything. So let me bring it up.
We like the code. We like the code. Yeah, I've been really into the whole just crypto and blockchain ecosystems for a while now, and getting into the NFTs, and have been doing a number of projects in that realm, and it's just fascinating to me all the things that we can do now with these decentralized systems that, you know, people can review the code and look at it and see what's actually written there. And um, I think it's awesome, you know, in a way. It's like it makes for like a trustless trustless possibilities, or trustless society. And it's kind of interesting to conceive of that, you know, where it's things are
When you
just like,
when you
go
say a
ahead.
trustless society, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's almost like there's no um, to a degree, if things are running, you know, if the code is the code, and in some cases, if it's like some immutable code or something that can't, you know, it's running and can't be disrupted by any kind of outside source, it's like it has a potential for this kind of like trustless sort of exchange, flow of information, flow of value, um, resources, and different things, um, all through blockchain, rather than, you know, necessarily needing to trust in a particular company or trust in a particular individual. Um, and I think
Yeah,
the possibility of that is like, it's interesting. It's just, it's an interesting like thought experiment more than anything
yeah.
else right now.
No, I hear what you're saying. To have it not be to have it be a rules based system, you know, independent of human judgment. I
Right.
understand. I understand the value of that and the ways to be able to really, you know, have that expand. I totally get what you mean by that. Um, there's a there is a these are the variables I use just to give you an idea. And so
Yeah.
I'm trying to see, I think actually if I make this change, this may make it work. That'd be pretty cool. So let me see if I'm remembering correctly and go back to what we just pulled up and make this. Let's see if that fixes it. Did you see the difference? I changed it from M to memd ID.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was using the M as a check where I had been sending it back and forth between the query string, but I decided to just make it a held variable through the cookies and stuff. So now why don't you start sharing again? And then after you're sharing, hit refresh and see if that fixed it. If that did, I'll be really impressed with myself. If not,
Yeah,
I
that
won't
would.
be surprised.
Let's refresh this page.
Oh,
Good job. Excellent.
great. I showed some confidence. Awesome. So, so there we go. So that's what it looks like. And now what you get to do, scroll down or to the top actually. Scroll to the top. Oh, wow, this page doesn't have it. So I have to make a note of that. You're not getting the navigation bar right now. Let me take a screenshot of that.
Yeah, all I've got is the solutions membership and teams up at the
Yeah,
top.
exactly. Click on the view profile link there. Yeah, and let me make a note of this. And you don't have it here either. Wow. So, oh, interesting. You're actually even locked out of it right now. That's kind of crazy. That's not working right. Let me figure out how to fix that. Hold on one second. what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a link for you to go to get to one of the channels. So if you scroll all the way down, it doesn't say add content or anything. Huh. Interesting. Okay, good. It's good that we're seeing this. I got to fix those things. So let me think. How? Okay. I'm surprised this is happening right now. But let me think about this. I guess I can just give you the link, but it should, yeah, I'm just going to give you the link that would be a button right there. Okay. And I apologize that you're not seeing it. I hadn't seen where that bar wasn't showing up. It was only working for me. Yeah, that bar. So if you click on the channels, yeah, click on that. Channels. Yeah, channels. And that'll take you to, it'll take you to these channels, but it's not going to actually, you're still not seeing the bar at all. I've got to fix the code on the bar that you're not seeing it. So, and just to keep in mind, I'm on Google Chrome, and the Chrome browser. So I don't know if that has any. Sometimes I know that between Mozilla and some of the other browsers, they'll just have weird. Yeah, it shouldn't be that. That shouldn't be the factor. I appreciate you thinking of that. Let me just think for a second. It's not. I don't want to get too hung up on this. I apologize that we're spending any time on it at all, but you're helping me see. This is what it's going to be, unfortunately, is I just have to find stuff with trial by fire at this point to get all of these bugs out, because it's just keep coming up in different places, especially as we keep that's what life is really largely just trial by fire. You're like, all right, let's find out. Exactly. I think, let me just think quickly, because I want to give you the ability to actually create. So I think if I just put you into the content creation system, and then we'll just have to see, why don't you, are you sharing or am I sharing? Yeah, you're sharing. Why don't you stop sharing for a moment and let me go ahead and find this link and just let you pull up this link in your browser, and then you'll be plugged right into your content system. Oh, but you know what I wanted to do first? I apologize. Let me share again, because we want to actually do the vision mapping for you first before we even get into the system, to let you actually choose again whatever vision. Do you have an idea of a vision that is, you mentioned the men's interactions with each other and with women. Is there some vision that you're holding that you're interested in seeing alive in the world? What I'm currently building is essentially like a system of initiation for men, to like a rites of passage, so to speak. And so that's something that feels just like really, really relevant, is just getting, diving deeper into the men's work and being able to facilitate that deeper transformational work to just really center men in their power. And because I firmly believe that people who are in their power and operating from their sovereignty, they're the ones who are making the best, they're the ones who are creating the best outcomes for everybody. I feel like all of our shadow behavior and stuff comes from a place of feeling disempowered, or comes from a place of fear, feeling like we're limited in some way, feeling like we can't do XYZ. And so for me, it's making that shift from the powerlessness to power, and realizing that and really just sourcing it from love, love being at the heart of it, like truly loving themselves and being able to step into more of their authority and more of their power on the planet to be able to deliver the outcomes we want to see. So that's awesome, bro. I really appreciate that you're doing that. And So I'm excited as you're telling me that I'm kind of absorbing it and feeling like how you're going to, very much be a support for people. And I haven't said it, so it's important time to say it because it fits with everything you just said, which is that Uniting for Action is a membership organization with two sides, the solution side and the support side, because I personally have been seeing a lot lately where I'm reaching all of my limits of my abilities to, do anything when I reach the limits of what my, my inner obstacles and inner challenges are holding me back from, right? And so
Right.
I'm seeing that whatever tools and solutions we provide to people are just going to be a mirror for them to see where they're being stopped in their life about anything, right?
Right.
And so in that like awareness that they're having in that moment and all their friends are, and we're all having collectively together, it's like, what is preventing you from stepping into the greatness that I see within you? Let me provide support. I know this person that can provide support. This person can do this. So there's this whole, that's a very important part of all of this.
I love how you framed that, because I hadn't even looked at it that way. Actually saying that, yes, solutions are like, and then support, because the people generating solutions need support, and there's such a I feel like that just gets overlooked sometimes. Like it totally does get overlooked, and I even overlooked it. And so thank you for bringing that in. It's just like when the dots connect, it's like, duh. It's awesome.
It becomes self-evident, right? That's the beauty. That's the beauty of this, and that's the beauty of what I'm sharing. Where again, we're on the shift as a humanity of going from disorganized to organized completely, where I'm helping point us in that direction. We're providing the systems to begin all of the initial organization and say, hey, society, here's all the pieces that we can be using to actually create an organized society. When we look at the two, especially with all the urgency around all these issues, it's unconscionable. There's like nothing to defend against being disorganized. It's like a necessary evolution of us, right? So if we know it is where we're evolving to, if we want to evolve to a more intelligent state, then we use it as a mirror to see who's lagging behind, why, what's the healing that they need, what are they clinging on to, individuals, corporations, whatever it is. It's all opportunities for healing to allow everybody to be in their own highest divine potential, supporting all of us going forward in a co-created, sustainable way with the environment and the future and everything,
Right. 100%. That's awesome. So good. Wow, I've never felt so happy about playing a support role, not gonna lie.
I appreciate that.
It's so essential.
It is so essential. And that's the thing. And as we have this complete system that allows you to be interacting with the world, because you can kind of just like position yourself as the support, for everybody. It's like, hey, I see where, and that's the thing, in this open space where we're all being open and we're saying, hey, if you can support me, here's how I can be supported. And you'll see, like I said, I've been filming some stuff that really gets into some nasty aspects of me and what I've been doing and all of that. But I'm feeling like to put it all out there is the access to all of the other greatness that can come, by sharing them equally, is the clearing and the space to like, I can use support in all of these areas. And with your support, we can do even more. And everybody to do that, everybody to get all this, call in all the support they can to be their highest version of themselves. That's what this system is built for.
Right. Love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And so again, just to kind of put this in a bow and then start like actually doing it with you, is that it does all of this on an individual level for us. So again, let me just show you this graphic. I just created this graphic. I was actually rushing to do it before you came because I wanted to, this represents a way that I'm using the hexagon as the logo, you'll see when we go back on the site. So it says Uniting for Action in the middle of this. But I'm also now starting to use it as like a conceptual framework where I want to describe every like machine that I'm building, because each one of these is almost like a machine. This is the reality generating machine that you're looking at. And this reality generating machine only has 6 moving parts. It's the vision mapping, the video processing, the content management, the channel tagging, the seeking support, and the project management. And with those 6 machine parts, like the big parts of a car, you know, like the engine or the chassis or the suspension or the whatever. But then once you get into one of them, then there's more parts inside of that and more parts inside of that. So I'm creating this fractal by 6s of having us map our world at different levels of complexity. And so to explain it in a simple way, this is what you and I are going to start doing, is we're going to do the vision mapping now, where we do a mind map and start to place on the mind map what you were just saying. And then comes the video processing, where you or us or however it goes, you know, is chopping up the videos and then putting the videos into the content management system to be able to be publishing it on your channels, on my channels, on Uniting for Action's channels. And that's done by doing the channel tagging all the channels where it should show up, and then using the seeking support system, which I'm going to show you, which is an automated system where we say, hey, here's a resource I could use, or this is what I need to do this, and all the things that we're seeking support for. It's now in an automated system where we ask for it, people respond, and then it's managed in an automated way. It's almost like a job posting type of system. And then lastly, yeah, like I need this support, here's what I'm offering, So people like apply for a job, essentially people say, hey, I can do that. And then other people say, hey, I know somebody that can do that, and I'll refer them to you. And this actually, I should mention, it's a big part actually, is that we're offering referral percentages. We're offering the system to provide the referral percentages, and we're building that into the Uniting for Action system itself, actually. So with Uniting for Action, as you see something that I need, and you see, oh, Jared needs video production, and I know a video production guy that can help him, so I'm going to connect those two. And when Jared pays that guy $10,000, then I'm going to earn 10% of that from having made the connection. So 10% is the actual kind of like standard percentage that we're recommending for everybody. It can be individually negotiated, but I'm kind of explaining to you this part of it because it's a significant part of some of the finances around it. So not only is it 10% like when you connect me and somebody I need, and now you've earned 10% commission, but because Dylan referred you, Dylan would earn 2% commission on anything that you're earning 10% commission on. And whoever signed Dylan up, which actually was Rico, then would earn 1% commission on whatever you're earning 10% commission on. And then there's a 2% more, so that's 13% total, and 2% more goes to Uniting for Action to help build out the infrastructure and build all the technology and all of that. So it's 15% of the transaction is coming out from the seller or the buyer, basically, because they're paying whatever the seller is charging. So the seller essentially is building in the 15% fee, because they're going to, and so that's the way, is that they're building in the percentage, 15% is being paid, it's being broken up that way. And what you can see from what I'm saying is that it provides all the financial incentives for us to help everyone else get their reality created. Right. Is basically what it comes down to, is that everybody's saying, hey, I can use this, and whoever can help me with this, I can give this. And we're incentivizing referrals happening to solicit what we're looking for.
Totally. How many solutions can each can creators basically produce, like, a variety of different solutions or things that they have going on in the United for Action network? Or
yeah
okay.
In the Uniting for Action system, let's get you in and using it now. So let me think. So I'm going to pull this link, and you're going to just use the link. So let me do that. Hold on one second. Hmm. Let me come back. I'm not. So to answer your question, I want to actually have you using the system, but it's not giving me the ability to do that right now. So I'm thinking.
I had to, I've got to get off here in just a few minutes anyway. So we could just do a follow-up meeting at some point and reconnect and
Yeah, I apologize for the fact that we're not getting into it right now, but
it's fine. I've enjoyed having the conversation with you and just, having the opportunity to hear everything that you've been creating, and then, just share what's been on my heart to create too, and seeing the potential to combine those and play a role in this movement that's happening that's aces in my book. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So I guess then let's just end on by you telling me like what, or I mean, you can think about it for a while, but just in the moment, what roles you're imagining, wanting to play, because in a way, we're creating the world from scratch in a sense, right? In terms of putting it into this system, which soon everyone will be in. So in a way, you get to kind of claim all of the landscape that you can manage, essentially, right? All of the different ideas, all of the different channels, all the whatever that you want to share things and then turn into products or retreats or initiations or all the different things, ways that you're creating value. But it's even more than that in terms of just you creating value in the world, you just connecting people and going through life and doing all of that. So
plus the network of co-creators, to just networking wise, that you get to connect all the pieces to in this system is really, really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's set up our next meeting, and let me also just have you share with me what you're feeling in terms of a role or roles you could foresee. When you get to write your future from scratch, what does it look like?
So my future from scratch would look like traveling the world and facilitating a number of workshops, particularly aimed towards initiation ceremonies and initiation rituals for men. And then also, online coaching and support for mindset shifts. I'm really, really into sharing strategies for wealth creation and passive income streams. And one of the businesses I'm building is the herbal adaptogens. I think Dylan mentioned to you, which I've been cranking on for like 4 years now, and don't even want to go more than a few days without my powder. So it's something that is just, for me, is so valuable. Addressing like health and hormone balance and longevity. So those are a few things off the top of my head.
That's great.
All of those I'd love to throw a lot into. And really too, something I've loved for a long time is just creating digital content, creating content that just inspires and uplifts people, or is really hilarious, but delivers a message, some kind of significant message where people can like fables. I'm a huge fan of just like fables and metaphors that use a story to deliver a really profound truth that can help somebody, just see differently in their experience. So.
Yeah, I love that you're seeing the world that way, because I think about that, but I have a hard time creating that for myself. But I see the value of that. And I think, again, that's really, even valuable to Uniting for Action, is having these narratives. That's what I've been, having to do, like with that diagram that I just showed you, is, to really figure out how to tell a story in a way that it becomes interesting to you, all of that, what we've been doing, right?
Right, exactly.
and so and there's so many different places I can start that story and go with that story. So it's really a challenge right now for me to kind of hone it. I've been working on it, and anyway, I wrote more, and I know we're already past 3 o'clock. I apologize. So if you would need to jump off, then please feel free. But if you want to take a couple more minutes to wrap up,
yeah, a couple more minutes is fine.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that it's just like so wrapped up in it, just I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought in terms of what we were talking about.
Well, and I think, well, for me, it's you've done so much work on the, like, you're like deep in the code, and you've built like the scaffolding for this huge vision and project, and then and like you said, but the challenge with that is being so deep in that realm is like a certain type of thought, and then conveying a story is like a different thought process, and so that there's always a place for like content creators, and people who can just like tell a story and capture attention and be able to shine the light enough to where people are like, oh wow, this is really valuable. And it becomes self-evident when they really take the time to explore it. It's just getting them to initially explore it and onboarding, and that's but yeah, I've really enjoyed learning about this project. This is so cool to see what you've been building. It's super awesome.
Awesome, bro. That's so great. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the reflection and for getting it. How would you like to proceed from here?
I'd definitely like to schedule a follow-up call. I've got pretty wide availability next week so far throughout the week. So yeah, I'd love to jump back in on the call and move through the program, and yeah, we can do the screen share again and go do this step by step as I set it up too. So
yeah, I'm thinking about I kind of want you using the system relatively. So I'll see. I'm tending towards Tuesday, if Tuesday might work for you.
Yep.
I'm thinking actually, yeah, because I already scheduled another meeting at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. So let's say like 10 a.m. Tuesday.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I think I did schedule it at 8. Okay, so that's perfect. So 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And
is that CST or?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my time. So is 9 a.m. CST cool for you?
Yes. Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Let me write it down for me. Yeah, I forgot the difference in time there. Thanks for catching that.
Are you on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And I really, again, I appreciate where you're coming from with like the men's circles and stuff. There's different people that have been involved, and I've been, up until I started doing all of this like 6 years ago on this national and international scale, I was really focusing on working with the conscious living leaders in South Florida as a local community. I was focusing on the consciousness side. I felt like there were two things we needed to address all of our challenge. We needed a revolution of technologies, and we needed a raising of consciousness. And we couldn't even wouldn't matter what technologies we had if the consciousness kept pulling us back to, where we've been basically, right?
Yeah, it's like an evolution of relationships.
Yeah, so I was really focusing on empowering the practitioners of the type of work that you're doing in South Florida as a way to have them thrive within the community and serve a wider community and collectively serve the entire, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, South Florida market on a higher level as a model to be replicated in other cities around the country and the world. And I spent 10 years on that model actually, and never got to critical mass to be able to have it. I never got past the tipping point to have it alive in the world. It was small, and I couldn't get it capitalized enough, from the members. So it was that journey that preceded this. But I'm just sharing it again because, again, the people I was hanging out with we would have hung out, if we were in the same city before I went on this track 6 years ago. Now I'm totally in this engineering, constructing world zone that, like, everything else has been shut out. But
Totally.
I appreciate what you're up to and the difference that you're making in the world now. Thank you.
Thank you, and likewise. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I look forward to being in
Yeah.
one of your circles and initiations sometime at some point. That'd be very cool.
I look forward to being plugged into your system. This will be awesome.
Awesome. Cool.
Awesome, dude.
Great to connect with you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, and have a blessed rest of your day, brother.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, you too. You too. Talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, is this cool to make the whole thing public? You good with that?
Absolutely. Go for it.
Awesome, bro. Cool. See you later.